I never thought I'd wake up in my granddaughter's body, staring at my own withered reflection in the mirror. But there I was, 18 years old again, plotting the kind of revenge that would make the devil himself blush. My name is Annabelle, and at 86, I'd spent decades burying secrets for my ungrateful spawn, secrets that could have landed them in prison. Or worse. But when they decided to drug me and ship me off to some godforsaken nursing home to snatch my estate, they crossed the line where forgiveness ends and hellfire begins. It started with a single pill slipped into my evening chamomile, the bitter aftertaste masked by honey from my daughter Evelyn's own hands.
Mom.
Just something to help you sleep, she'd cooed, her Botox-smooth smile not quite reaching those shark eyes. By morning, I was groggy,
Disoriented.
signing over power of attorney to her and my son, Harlan, in a haze that felt like drowning in fog. They called it dementia's gift. But I knew better. I'd raised those vipers. After all, the swap wasn't some Hollywood hocus-pocus. It was colder, more clinical, the kind of American ingenuity twisted into nightmare fuel. I'd heard whispers about it from my bridge club ladies, Dr. Elias Crow, the disgraced neuroscientist holed up in a nondescript clinic off the Vegas Strip, peddling second chances to the desperate and depraved. Crow had lost his license after a botched trial on terminal patients, swapping consciousnesses like swapping tires on a Cadillac. Black market? Off the books. The sort of thing that thrives in the shadows of Sin City, where dreams go to die broke and broken. I'd squirreled away enough from my late husband's life insurance to fund a Hail Mary. Evelyn and Harlan thought I was too far gone to fight, but I'd been playing possum, feigning the confusion while memorizing their every slimy move. The night before the transfer to Shady Pines Assisted Living, I slipped out the back door of my sprawling ranch house in Scottsdale, Arizona, the one I'd clawed from nothing after Pop died in Nam, and drove my old Lincoln into the desert night. The clinic was a squat bunker disguised as a spa, all neon promises and armed security who looked the other way for the right Benjamins. Crow himself met me in the lobby, a gaunt scarecrow in a lab coat stained with what I hoped was coffee. "Mrs. Hargrove," he rasped, eyes darting like a ferret on meth. "You're sure? This isn't reversible. It's you in there forever, or until the brain fry decides otherwise." I nodded, my arthritic hands trembling not from fear, but fury. My granddaughter, Lila Sweet, wide-eyed Lila, just turned 18 and fresh out of high school, was the key. She'd overheard Evelyn and Harlan plotting in the kitchen one whiskey-soaked night, her tears soaking my nightgown as she confessed. "Gran, they're gonna lock you away and sell the house." For what? Another yacht for Harlan. Lila hated them too. In that quiet, festering way kids do when parents treat them like accessories. She volunteered for the swap without a second thought. "Take my body."
Gran.
"Make them pay." Crow hooked us up to his jury-rigged machine, a tangle of electrodes, humming servers salvaged from some DARPA reject project, and a cocktail of experimental nootropics that made my veins burn like cheap tequila. "Think of it as digital soul surgery," he muttered, flipping the switch. The world dissolved into static, a scream trapped in my throat that wasn't mine. When I came to, it was in silk sheets that smelled of vanilla body spray and teenage rebellion. My hands smooth, unscarred, fingers long and nimble shot up to my face. Soft skin, full lips, a cascade of chestnut hair spilling over the pillow. Lila's body. I bolted to the ensuite bathroom, flipping on the light. And there she was, my reflection, but not 18. fierce, with eyes that now burned with an old woman's rage. "Holy shit," I whispered, my voice a lilting alto that hadn't cracked from decades of Marlboros. Down the hall, in the guest room Crow had commandeered, my old body stirred, Lila trapped inside, her young mind reeling in that sagging shell. We had 24 hours before the drugs wore off and the swap destabilized. Crow warned us, use it wisely. Brains reject foreign tenants like bad roommates. But wisdom was for suckers. I had vengeance on the menu. First, a crash course in being Lila. I rifled through her closet, ripped jeans, banned tees from concerts I'd never heard of, Doc Martens that pinched my unfamiliar toes, makeup tutorials on her phone, a crash diet of TikTok dances to mimic her slouchy gait. By dawn, I could pass. Barely. The real test was facing Evelyn and Harlan at breakfast. The Arizona sun baked the kitchen tiles as I shuffled in, feigning that hungover teen vibe. Evelyn was at the island, scrolling Zillow on her iPad. Listings for beachfront condos in Malibu. Harlan, nursing a Bloody Mary, didn't look up from his Bloomberg app. Morning. Sleepyhead. Evelyn trilled, not missing a beat. Gran okay? She was muttering nonsense last night. I poured cereal, something neon and sugary that stuck to my teeth like regret, and mumbled,
Yeah.
Whatever. She's out of it. Harlan snorted. Good. Papers are signed. Shady Pines picks her up at noon. My blood, Lila's blood, boiled. These were my kids. The ones I'd lied for, covered for, loved with a ferocity that bordered on madness. Flashback to '89, Harlan, 22 and cocky, wrapping his Porsche around a pole after a coke-fueled bender. The other driver?
Dead.
A single mom from the wrong side of town. Her life snuffed for his stupidity.
Idera sa pounds.
Buried evidence. Told the cops it was her fault, swerving into traffic. They said. Insurance paid out. Harlan walked. And I swallowed the guilt like bitter pills. For Evelyn, it was worse. Her affair with the married DA in '95. The embezzlement from his campaign fund to fund her startup that was really just Botox and Birkins. I'd forged documents. Played the loyal secretary at her sham company, taking the fall for the audit that nearly landed her in federal lockup.
And now?
They were evicting me from my own life. Hey, Lila Bug, Harlan said, sliding a credit card across the counter. My credit card, funneled through a trust they'd already cracked open. Go shopping. Celebrate grandma's retirement. I pocketed it, nails digging into my palm. Celebrate.
Oh. I de celebrata. All right.
The van from Shady Pines arrived at 11. A white beast with bars on the windows that screamed, end of days. I watched from Lila's bedroom window as they loaded my old body, Lila inside, sedated and silent, into the back. Evelyn air-kissed the air near her cheek. Harlan signed the clipboard with a flourish. Finally, he muttered, clapping his hands. Time to flip this old heap.
My house.
The one with the lemon tree pot planted before he shipped out. The one where I'd raised them through divorces and downturns. Flip it. For what? A McMansion in Phoenix suburbs? I waited until they left for the country club lunch, Evelyn's weekly martini ritual with the real estate vultures. Then I moved. First call, Crow. Stabilize her, I hissed into Lila's iPhone. Whatever it takes. Double the dose. He grumbled about ethics and half-lives, but the wire transfer I'd prepped silenced him. Lila would stay in my body, safe in that hellhole until I could extract her.
Me?
I had Harlan's Porsche keys dangling from the hook. Time to drive. Scottsdale blurred by in a haze of luxury SUVs and palm-lined boulevards, the AC blasting against the desert heat that made my borrowed skin prickle. I hit Harlan's office first, a glass tower downtown where he lorded over Hargrove Investments, a Ponzi-like empire built on my seed money and his silver tongue. The receptionist, a peroxide blonde named Tiffany who called me Miss Lila with a wink, buzzed me up. Harlan's corner suite overlooked Camelback Mountain, all leather and lies. He wasn't there lunch, she said, but his laptop was unlocked like the idiot he was. Files upon files, my estate dissected, properties liquidated, even Pop's war medals pawned for quick cash. And there, buried in a subfolder labeled Contingencies, the truth about the '89 crash. Harlan hadn't just walked, he'd paid off witnesses, including the dead woman's sister, with hush money for my accounts. Evelyn's folder was uglier. Emails to her lover, the XDA, plotting to frame me for the embezzlement if the IRS ever sniffed too close. Mom's the perfect patsy, one read. Senile old bat won't remember shit. Rage tasted like copper. I forwarded it all to an anonymous Gmail, then wiped the traces. Next, Evelyn's studio in Paradise Valley, a converted garage where she peddled overpriced yoga retreats to bored housewives. She was there, mid-namaste with a gaggle of Lululemon zombies, when I burst in. Lila, what the? Her ponytail swung like a pendulum as she straightened. The women scattered like startled quail, leaving us alone amid incense and essential oils. Grand nose, I said, voice steady in Lila's lilt. Evelyn's eyes narrowed, that predatory glint. What are you babbling about? Go home. You're upsetting the energy. I pulled out my phone, Lila's phone, and played the forwarded emails, her own words damning her in tinny stereo. Her face drained of color, foundation cracking like old plaster.
How?
You hacked me? You little bitch. I'll have your father. Daddy's next. I cut in, stepping closer, feeling the power of youth in every stride. But here's the deal.
Mom.
You call off the nursing home. You rewrite the papers. Or these go to the feds, the press, everyone. And don't think I won't. It was a bluff wrapped in truth. I had no leverage beyond the files. But Evelyn didn't know that. She prided herself on being the smart one, the manipulator. Facing her own game turned on her, it shattered something. You wouldn't, she whispered, but her hands shook as she clutched her mala beads. For her, that dried-up relic. Worse, I said, leaning in until I could smell her Chanel no.
5.
For me. And in that moment, I saw the crack, the fear that her perfect life, the one built on my bones, might crumble. She caved by 4 p.m., calling Shady Pines to postpone indefinitely. I drove back as the sun dipped, painting the mountains bloody, and found Lila's body humming with adrenaline. But revenge isn't a sprint, it's a marathon through moral quicksand. That night, as Evelyn and Harlan reconvened in the living room, whispering furiously about the kid's tantrum, I eavesdropped from the stairs. Harlan wanted to lawyer up, fight dirty. Evelyn, ever the pragmatist, suggested upping my grand's meds, making the dementia stick for good. They didn't know I was listening. They didn't know the old lady they discarded was now the wolf in sheep's clothing, sharpening her teeth on their throats. Sleep didn't come easy in Lila's body. It was too light, too restless, like trying to nap on a bed of nails. I tossed until 3 a.m., the house creaking like it sensed the war brewing under its roof. By dawn, I was up, raiding the fridge for protein shakes, Lila's CrossFit obsession, and plotting phase 2. Evelyn and Harlan thought they'd bought time with their back pedal. But time was the one thing I wouldn't give. I'd already lost decades to their leeching. Now, I'd take back what was mine, inch by bloody inch. First, Intel. I commandeered Lila's laptop, a pink-bedazzled MacBook plastered with indie band stickers, and dove into the dark web via a VPN I'd bookmarked from her browser history. Turns out, my innocent granddaughter had a hacker crush on some Redditor named Shadowbite. Forums buzzed with dirt on Harlan, insider trading tips, affairs with clients' wives, even a rumored hooker ring he bankrolled for networking. Evelyn's trail was juicier, lawsuits buried under NDAs. A hidden run in college she'd pinned on her sorority sister, who ended up in a psych ward courtesy of Evelyn's anonymous tip to the dean. But the real gem? The family's secret I'd buried deeper than Pop's Purple Heart, the affair. Not Evelyn's, theirs. Harlan and Evelyn, my golden children, had been screwing since college, a twisted tango that produced Lila as collateral damage. I'd found out in 2007, during a surprise visit to their separate apartments in Chicago. Walked in on them. Sheets tangled, Harlan's cigarillo smoke curling like accusation. "Mom, it's not," Evelyn started, but I shut her down. "Blood's blood," I'd said, sweeping it under the rug because, what else? Call the cops on incest? Ruin the grandkids?
No.
I swallowed it. Raised Lila as my own when they shipped her off to boarding school to focus on careers. Now, that secret was dynamite. I drafted emails, anonymous chains linking their trysts to corporate espionage, Harlan funneling insider info to Evelyn's investors, who were really just lovers in three-piece suits. One leak, and the SEC would feast. But I held off. Revenge needed savoring, like a slow-roast brisket at a 4th of July barbecue. Harlan left for the office at 8, his Tesla humming out the driveway like a getaway car. I followed in the Porsche, keeping distance through the morning traffic snarl of snowbirds and tech bros commuting to Tempe. His building's valet nodded me in. Lila was a familiar face. Interning summers for experience. Up the elevator, past Tiffany's curious glance, to the bullpen where junior analysts pecked at spreadsheets like chickens. Harlan's door was ajar. He was on a call. Pacing, voice a low growl. Yes. The old bag secured. Liquidate the portfolio by end of day.
No.
Screw the fiduciary duty. Mom's POA is ironclad. He spotted me in the doorway, freezing mid-stride. Gotta go, Senator. The phone clattered down. Lila. What the hell are you doing here? I sauntered in, channeling every bratty teen flick I'd binge-watched with her. Bored. Thought I'd crash your boring-ass meeting. His desk was a war zone of takeout boxes and framed photos, me at his law school graduation. Beaming like a fool. I perched on the edge, crossing my legs in those ripped jeans. Heard you and Aunt Ev plotting last night. Real classy. Dad. His face tightened, that vein in his temple throbbing like a warning siren. Eavesdropping now? Christ. You're as nosy as your grandmother. He poured scotch from the decanter, 10 a.m., classic Harlan, and offered me a splash. I waved it off. Look,
Kiddo.
this is adult stuff. Grands. Not well. We're just protecting the family. Protecting? I laughed, Sharp and ugly. Like you protected that waitress in '89? The one whose brakes you cut because she wouldn't blow you in the parking lot. It was a guess, pieced from forum whispers, but it landed like a gut punch. Harlan's glass slipped, amber spilling across mahogany. Who told you that? That lying. No one had to. I found the payout logs. Mom's too. His eyes bulged. Fish out of water style. I pressed, voice dropping to a whisper. Resign from the board.
Today.
Or I hit send on the whole sordid timeline to your biggest clients. Starting with Senator Klein, he loves family values. Right? He lunged, hand clamping my wrist. But I twisted free, youth's gift, and kneed him square in the thigh. The way Lila's self-defense class had drilled. He crumpled against the desk, wheezing. You ungrateful. I'll cut you off. No trust fund. No college. Try it, I snarled, rubbing my wrist. I'll go public. Tell the world how the Hargrove heir got his rocks off with his sister. The word hung. Poisonous. Harlan went white, then red, sputtering denials that died on his lips. He knew I knew. By noon, his resignation email pinged across the C-suite. Personal reasons. Effective immediately. Evelyn was next. But she was slippery, out schmoozing at a charity gala for women in wellness, code for fleecing Scottsdale's elite. I beat her home. Baking cookies from Lila's Pinterest board, oatmeal raisin. My old recipe to sell the normalcy. When she swept in at 6, Louboutins clicking like gunfire. The scent of gin and gardenias preceded her. Lila, smells divine. What's the occasion? I plated them warm, watched her bite in, crumbs dotting her silk blouse. Just felt like it. Family night. Harlan slunk in 20 minutes later. Ty askew, avoiding her eyes. We sat in the dining room, crystal clinking under the chandelier I'd imported from Italy after the '08 crash saved our asses. Small talk flowed like syrup, weather. Lila's college apps, but tension crackled, electric as a hubbub rolling in. Halfway through her second glass of Pinot, Evelyn cracked. Harlan tells me you're concerned about Gran. Her smile was a rictus. I nodded, munching a cookie to hide my grin.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Kicking her out? For what? More Birkins? Harlan choked on his steak. Evelyn's fork paused midair. Watch your mouth. Young lady. This is business. Business, I echoed. Like screwing your brother? Or was that pleasure? The room imploded. Evelyn's wineglass shattered on the table, shards glittering like fallen stars. Harlan bolted up, chair scraping. You psychotic little. But Evelyn held up a hand, calm as a cobra. How long have you known? Her voice was velvet over steel. I shrugged, Lila's nonchalance masking my glee. Long enough. Gran told me everything before they doped her. Liar, Harlan spat, but doubt flickered. Evelyn leaned forward, eyes dissecting me. What do you want? Lila?
Money?
A car? Name it. Everything, I said. Deeds back to Gran. Apologies in writing. And you too?
Therapy.
Real shit. Not your quack retreats. Or the world learns how the Hargroves really play house. They conferred in whispers after dinner. Harlan pacing the patio under string lights. Evelyn chain-smoking menthols she swore she'd quit. I retreated to Lila's room, heart hammering, and Skyped Crow. How's she holding? Lila's face, my face, filled the screen. Gaunt and gray under fluorescent hell.
Gran?
It hurts. Everything sags. But I'm fighting. Get me out. Soon, I promised. Throat tight. Just playing chicken with the devils. By midnight, they capitulated. Deeds overnight to a lawyer neutral as Switzerland. Harlan booked a shrink in Phoenix, Evelyn a couples counselor specializing in boundaries. I slept like the dead, dreaming of Pop's ghost nodding approval. But dawn brought the first crack in my armor. A call from Shady Pines, your grandmother's. Agitated. Talking nonsense about swaps and revenge. We need family authorization for restraints. My gut twisted. The drugs were fading, Lila's mind fraying in that cage of bones. I drove out at sunrise. The desert highway empty save for tumbleweeds and my rising panic. The facility was a low-slung purgatory of beige walls and beige souls, the air thick with Lysol and despair. I flashed Lila's ID, breezed past the desk jockeys, and found me in a shared room, clawing at the bedsheets. Annabelle, she croaked in my old voice, raspy as sandpaper. Her eyes, my eyes, locked on mine with desperate recognition. They're coming. End it. Not yet, I whispered, stroking the liver-spotted hand that had rocked her cradle. Hold on, baby girl. Gran's got one more trick. Crow had a reversal protocol. Risky as Russian roulette, 2 souls in one body. Or worse, neither. But I couldn't leave her like this. I slipped her a smuggled vial of stabilizers. Watched her eyelids flutter shut in uneasy peace. Back home, Evelyn waited in the kitchen, arms crossed, a manila envelope on the counter. The lawyer called. Papers are filed. Happy, her tone dripped acid. I nodded, but something in her gaze, calculating, cold, set my teeth on edge. Over a weekend bender, she pressed. You hack us, threaten us, and poof, sane as a judge?
Spill.
Lila. Or I'll have you committed next. The bluff I'd spun was fraying. Lila's memories flickered at the edges of my mind, her resentment, her secret pot stash, the crush on her chem teacher that could torpedo her apps. If Evelyn dug, she'd unravel it all. Just pissed, I muttered. Family first, right? She laughed. Low and mean. Family. That's rich. As I turned to leave, her hand shot out, gripping my arm. Whatever game you're playing, it ends now. Or you'll learn what we did to the last loose end. The dead waitress echoed in my skull. That night, Harlan tried to buy me off, $50K wired to Lila's account, with a post-it for college. Forget it. I deleted the transfer, but the seed of doubt sprouted. Was I saving the family, or destroying it? Lila deserved better than this Frankenstein farce. And me, at 86 in 18-year-old skin. What life was left but ashes? The controversial choice loomed. Push harder. Risk the reversal now. Or let the swap linger, damning us both to borrowed lives. I chose fire. The gala was the perfect stage, Evelyn's crown jewel. The annual Hargrove Foundation Breast Cancer Awareness Ball at the Phoenician Resort, where Phoenix's 1%ers preened in tuxes and tiaras for a cause that let them deduct vanity as virtue. I'd crashed enough of these in my old life to know the drill. Schmooze the donors. Pose for the society pages. Then hit the valet for a post-party indiscretion.
Tonight.
I'd turn it into their wake. Lila's closet yielded a killer dress, emerald silk that hugged curves I'd forgotten I had, slid high enough to scandalize the old guard. I did her makeup smoky, lips blood red, hair in loose waves that screamed trouble. Mirror check, passable. If you ignored the murder in my eyes. Harlan picked me up at 7, jaw clenched in his Tom Ford suit. You look grown up, he grunted, eyes sliding away. Evelyn waited in the lobby, a vision in sapphire chiffon, diamonds winking like lies. Let's make nice, she murmured, linking arms with me like we were allies. The irony burned sweeter than mezcal. The ballroom dripped opulence, crystal chandeliers casting rainbows on linen-draped tables. A string quartet sawing at Vivaldi while waiters circulated caviar blinis and vintage dom. Harlan worked the room like a shark, handshakes firm, laughs booming. Evelyn flitted among the widows and heiresses, her wellness spiel landing soft sells for retreats that promised enlightenment or, at least, better abs. I played the dutiful granddaughter,
Sipping mocktails.
nodding at tales of stock tips and spring breaks in Aspen. But under the glamour,
Rotfestert.
Senator Klein cornered Harlan by the bar, clapping his back with a whisper that drained the color from my son's face. Heard about the resignation. Family troubles. Harlan mumbled excuses. Health sabbatical. Reevaluation. But Klein's grin was wolfish. Word was spreading, tendrils of my leaks coiling through the grapevine. Evelyn caught wind, too, her smile faltering as a Botox socialite cooed. Darling, rumors about your brothers. Indiscretions. Anything I can spin for the newsletter? By the auction, priceless. A weekend at Harlan's Telluride ski chalet. Starting bid $10,000. The tension was a live wire. I bid low, drove it up to spite, then dropped out, leaving some oil heiress holding the bag. Harlan seethed beside me. What the fuck? Lila? That's our asset. I shrugged.
Oops.
Guess you're liquidating. The breaking point came during Evelyn's keynote, her sliding into the podium glow like she owned grace. Tonight, we honor resilience, she purred, voice amplified to the rafters. The strength to rise from betrayal, to reclaim what's yours. The crowd lapped it up, applause thundering. But I saw the subtext, her eyes flicking to me, a warning wrapped in wisdom. Enough. I slipped out to the terrace, the desert night cool and vast, stars pricking the black like bullet holes. Harlan followed, cigar unlit between his teeth. Talk, he demanded, voice slurred from scotches. This isn't you. The hacking, the threats, what's really going on? Truth time. Or close enough. Gran told me everything. The crash. The affair. The money you bled from her. His face crumpled. Not in remorse but rage. That senile cow lied. I protected her, us, from ruin. Without me, we'd be nothing. Protected? I spat, stepping into his space, the silk whispering against his lapel. You used her.
Both of you. And now,
you're done. I pulled the phone, thumb hovering over the send button, the full dossier, timed to blast at midnight to every contact in his Rolodex. The Arizona Republic, even TMZ for the incest kicker. He grabbed for it, but I danced back, heels steady on the flagstone. Give it, he roared, lunging. We grappled. A farce of father-daughter that ended with me shoving him hard against the balustrade. He teetered, arms windmilling. And for one heartbeat, controversial, unthinkable, I let him. The drop wasn't fatal. Just 10 feet to manicured shrubs, but the crack of branch, and curse echoed like judgment. He landed sprawled, tux shredded, ego in tatters. Evelyn found us minutes later, her keynote crown slipping as she hauled him up, thorns drawing pinpricks of blood. "What did you do?" she hissed at me. But I was already walking away. Phone secure. Family resilience.
Mom.
Practice it. The fallout hit like monsoon flood. Harlan nursed bruises and a sprained ankle, blaming a freak slip in his ER story. But whispers linked it to the leaks dropping at dawn, headlines screaming, Hargrove heir quits amid scandal, subheads hinting at familial fractures. Evelyn's retreats bookings tanked, donors ghosting with polite emails about realigning priorities. They turned on each other in screaming matches I overheard from Lila's room, accusations flying like shrapnel. "You pushed her too far. Your bastard kid started this." I played innocent, the concerned teen caught in crossfire, even as I wired more funds to Crow for Lila's extraction. The reversal chamber waited in his bunker, a Faraday cage of monitors and morphine drips. But doubt gnawed. Was I the hero? Or the monster? Pushing Harlan off that ledge, even non-lethally, crossed a line I'd sworn never to touch. Pop's voice echoed from old letters. "War changes you, Annie. Makes you question the uniform."
Midweek.
The real twist slithered in. A package arrived at the door, unmarked, heavy. Inside, a USB drive and a note in Crow's scrawl. Insurance. Watch before you reverse. I plugged it in, alone in the study, and the screen flickered to life. Not Harlan or Evelyn's sins, but mine. Footage from the clinic's hidden cam. Me. In my old body. Confessing to Crow pre-swap. "They deserve it," I'd said. "But if it goes south, make sure they know." The crash? I was driving. The world tilted. 89 wasn't Harlan's bender, it was mine. I'd swerved to avoid a coyote.
Clipped the sedan. Killed her.
Harlan took the heat, his car. His prints on the flask I'd planted, to shield me from manslaughter. From losing everything. Evelyn's embezzlement? I'd greenlit it. Forged the signatures myself. To bail him out of gambling debts. The affair? I'd encouraged it. Thinking forbidden fruit might bind them closer. Keep the family intact. Lies upon lies. My hands the dirtiest. Tears, Lila's tears, blurred the screen. I'd suffered for no one. I'd orchestrated the suffering. The swap wasn't revenge. It was absolution's cruel joke, forcing me to live the chaos I'd sown. Crow had known. The bastard blackmailed me into funding his escape to Belize, leaving Lila stranded. Panic clawed. Reversal now meant confessing, facing charges in my frail shell.
Delay.
And Lila withered. The controversial decision: sacrifice her for my freedom, or drag her down with me. I chose the coward's path, smashing the drive, deleting the backups. Harlan and Evelyn could rot in their scandals. I'd flee with the Porsche, head west to California, start over in this young skin. Lila? Collateral? Like the waitress. But as I packed, her texts pinged from Shady Pines. Frantic, gran. Get me out. They're transferring me to psych. Guilt. That old familiar knife. Twisted.
Fuck it.
One last play. The psych ward loomed like a concrete crypt on the outskirts of Mesa. Chain-link fences topped with razor wire glinting under sodium lamps. I'd hot-wired the orderly's shift change, bribing a night nurse with Harlan's emergency cash stash, irony's bitter cherry. Slipping in was easy. Getting out with patient Hargrove in tow? That was the gauntlet. Lila, trapped in my body, huddled in a paper gown. For lines snaking like accusations. Her eyes, dulled by Haldol haze, widened at my approach.
El Gran.
The whisper was a ghost of her fire. I nodded, peeling back the tape, yanking the port free with teeth gritted against the sting. Come on,
Kid.
ride's waiting. She leaned heavy on my arm, bones brittle as bird wings, and we shuffled the halls, dodging med carts and moans that echoed like bad dreams. Alarms wailed as we hit the loading dock, red lights strobing our escape. A security guard lumbered from shadows, radio crackling, but I channeled Lila's taekwondo, sweeping his legs with a borrowed crutch. He crumpled, cursing, and we piled into the stolen Prius, Evelyn's eco-virtue signal. Tires squealed on asphalt, the desert swallowing us whole as sirens wailed in the rearview. Crow's Bunker was a ghost town.
Door Ayar.
Servers gutted like a gut-shot steer. Took the money and ran, I muttered, rifling drawers for the reversal kit. Lila collapsed on the exam table, wheezing. Tell me. Truth. The drugs loosened my tongue. The footage's ghost demanded it. I confessed, in halting sobs, the crash, the forgeries, the affair I'd fanned like forbidden flames. I made them monsters, Lila, to keep us together.
And now.
I've damned you too. Her hand, my hand squeezed weak.
Not. Damned.
Free. Eyes fluttering. She smiled, faint as dawn. Swap back.
Live.
For me. The kit hummed to life. Electrodes kissing temples. The machine's whine rising like a dirge. I hit enter. The world dissolving once more into white noise. Consciousness snapped back like a rubber band to hell, wrinkles folding heavy. Joints screaming protest. The weight of 86 years crashing down. I was me again. In the clinic's dim glow. Lila stirring opposite. Color blooming in her cheeks as youth reclaimed her. Gran, she gasped, scrambling to hug me, her arms strong and sure. We clung. Two souls stitched from frayed cloth. The machine cooling to silence. But freedom's price tag arrived at dawn, Evelyn's Maserati roaring up the dirt drive. Harlan staggering out with a shotgun, Pop's old Remington. The bastard. You crazy old witch, he bellowed, racking the slide. Stole her? After everything? Evelyn flanked him, phone in hand, dialing 911 with manicured nails. It's over.
Mom.
Dementia ward. For life. The twist reversed like a bad bet. They knew. Not the swap crow's footage. Forwarded anonymously before his bolt. My sins. Laid bare in grainy confession. You killed her, Harlan snarled. Barrel steady. Our waitress? Your fault. And we covered for you. Lila stepped forward. Shield of youth. Back off.
Dad.
Or I pull the trigger on everything. Her phone glowed. The dossier queued. Incest headlines primed. Controversial calculus. Family implosion. Or shotgun confetti. Harlan wavered. The gun dipping. Evelyn lunged. Shoot the girl. But Lila was faster. Wrenching the barrel skyward as thunder cracked. Buckshot shredding the cacti ceiling. Chaos cascaded. Sirens converging. Crow's lab a crime scene magnet. We bolted, Lila dragging my faltering frame to the Prius, as feds swarmed. Evelyn's screams curdling the air. Traitors. All of you. We ditched the car in Tucson. hopped a Greyhound west, anonymous in the scrum of dreamers and drifters. Lila aced her GED online, landed a scholarship to UCLA Film Studies, her passion.
Me?
I rented a tiny bungalow in Joshua Tree, the desert's bony fingers cradling my regrets. No more lies, just sunsets and chamomile. Straight this time. Harlan and Evelyn? Scandal swallowed them. SSC probes. Tabloid exposés. Divorce papers inked amid therapy sessions that devolved to mudslinging. The house sold for pennies. Proceeds garnished for restitution to the waitress's kin. They survived broken, bankrupt, but breathing, cursing my name in whispers. Was it justice? Or just another layer of my mess? Lila says redemption's in the rearview, not the wreckage. But late nights, when the coyotes howl, I wonder, did I save us, or sentence us all to a slower death? The devil's in the debate, and America's got front row seats. In the end, revenge backfired beautiful on them.
On me.
But damn if it didn't feel like coming home.